How's it going, guys? Odds and Ends RC here. Today we're going to be assembling some cheap wheels and tires. Sometimes your builds can get pretty expensive, and sometimes you just want something cheap that works and doesn't cost a fortune. I found these Injora, however you say that, on eBay. A set of 4 rims, beadlock wheels, and knockoff tires, shipped to the house for $44 off of eBay. Um, Normally, when you buy name brand wheels and tires, you're looking at $120 to $140 for some nice beadlocks, and then you're looking at another $50 to $60 for name brand tires. And these tires look really good. They're actually a knockoff. This KLR, these are actually, if you buy the real ones, I believe they're about $65 for a set of 4. So I probably won't perform as good, but they do look the part. But we're going to assemble these today and just kind of see how they look, if they're even worth getting or not. So this is how you get them out of the package. They come in sets of 2. Like I said, I got all 4. It comes with your little bag of bolts. Now, from previous experience with the cheaper wheels, the bolts are definitely cheaper. You don't want to over tighten them, and you want to have a variation of Allen keys laying around. Like I've got standard and metric, and sometimes you have to use a standard on a metric, just to get it to fit tighter, but I'm just using normal tools that everybody has laying around just to show you that it can be done. But start off, I'm going to dump these out. And we're going to get these out of here. But first impressions, I mean, the machine work looks very nice. This has 6 bolts on the back that actually is what holds your wheel together. The ones on the front are just for looks, and there is a bunch of them to put in. Now, normally, which I'll probably do off camera, but on these front-facing bolts, I use a little bit of just like a light blue Loctite. This is equivalent to the blue regular Loctite. Just a little dab on the end of the bolts, because they do like to work out. And then a little dab on the back ones too. And then the center hub, there's 6 bolts holding that. Little dabs on them too, because these bolts do like to work out once they've been in there for a while. But I think to start out the video, we'll go ahead and take it apart. And there is probably, I don't know, 20 different looks of these wheels. Just type in Injora 1.9 beadlock wheel on eBay, and you'll bring up all sorts of different ones. You can buy just the wheels, I think, for $35. You can get the wheel and tire combo. I got them for $44 shipped. They did come from China, but I actually had them in 6 days. So I was pretty happy about that. I ordered some other stuff too. A body, and a few odds and ends, little things. And they all came in within 6 days. I was pretty impressed. But yeah, looks pretty good so far. I'm going to start out by putting all these screws in. I'm going to do it off camera because it's going to take me a little bit. Let me get that taken care of, and then I'll be back on here. Alright. painfully put every one of them in there. I just squirted a little bit of Loctite on the table and just kind of barely dipped the end of each bolt into it and screwed it in. You want as little as possible. If you get too much, then it'll squeeze out around the head and, look kind of shitty. But did that. I got the hub bolts in there. So now we're gonna put them in the tire. Now this tire is directional, so keep that in mind. If you use these tires, you want two of them, the tread facing one way, and you want two of them facing the other way. So keep that in mind. I'll start by putting the beadlock ring inside the tire like any other tire. Usually you just gotta kind of slowly work it in there. The foams inside this tire, they seem decent, but I'm sure they'll probably degrade over time. Kind of a, a medium foam, I would guess. Just kind of try to center that ring out in the middle of that foam in there. Kind of work it around, work it back and forth. Just make sure none of the foam's hung up on it. It's in the center of the wheel. Alright. I'll start by putting the front part of the wheel in first. Looks like it slides right in there. Try the other side too. Yeah. Slides right in there. Just kind of make sure it's all the way set down. Alright. Put the actual beadlock in. You want to line up the bolt holes with the bolt holes on the wheel. Just kind of get it close so when you're pressing it down, they will be close to alignment. That slips right down in there. Real nice. What I like to do on these is get 2 bolts started in there. So that way when you're pushing down, they're already in place. Set 2 of them in there across from each other like that. And then make sure you're in alignment. Make sure that your bolt lines up with your hole, that you're not off one way a little bit. Okay, looking good. And I like to kind of hold my fingers on the rim on the back side and squeeze them together while trying to line up the hole. Kind of use my thumb and then my fingers on the other side. Get one bolt started and then come around to the other side. Squish it down and get the other bolt started. Kind of make sure everything looks like it's going down level. Double check the front again. Okay, we're still looking good. Let's set the other bolts in there. At least get 2 more started. And these are actually very easy. I did a set of 155 Injora wheels a couple months back, and they were also very easy. Some of the easiest ones I ever did. Okay, put the other last 2 bolts in. Just kind of work your way around. I like to jump back and forth, crisscross pattern. Just tighten it down a little bit at a time. And then keep checking that everything looks good on the front. You know, make sure you ain't got a big wad hanging out or one side's higher than the other side. Check your gaps. If you do end up with one, just loosen everything up and kind of start over. But everything's looking good on this. I'll tighten it down some more. I would not recommend using any kind of power tools on these. I've got a nice set of drivers, but they didn't want to fit the bolts very good, so I had to bust out the Allen wrenches, which I don't mind using. Okay. Okay. That's it. That went together very easy. Sometimes on the more expensive wheels, you need to use like, try to find you longer bolts, because when you're pressing the wheel together, the gap is too big to use the shorter bolts. Sometimes you got to use longer bolts to close the gap, then take them out and put in a shorter bolt, but I didn't have to on these. I didn't have to on the 155s either. And that is a good looking wheel and tire, I think. These are 105 millimeter tires. It's kind of what I was looking for upcoming build I'm doing. But I think by the time you get a center cap in there, once it's mounted, if you do like a Mickey Thompson center cap or something like that, I think for $44 for a whole set of 4, that's hard to beat. I don't know if their quality is good on all their wheels, but you know, $44 versus $200, you know, it's worth trying, I think. Like I said, I don't know how the foams will hold up. They may break down after a while. You know, the tire may not. I mean, the tire feels really grippy though, but they may not grip as good as the real tire. And also off camera, I mounted up the RC 4-wheel drive rock crusher. It went together just as easy. No issues with it or whatever, but I think the rim is almost too wide for the tire or something, because I don't know, it just has this goofy looking sidewall, and then the foam kind of slides around real easy inside the tire. But I think that might be just the rim's too wide for the tire. Have to try it on some other ones too, but it did mount up just as easy. But yeah, I hope that kind of gives you some options on, you know, if you're on a budget or whatever. Kind of gives you some options to work with. This is the 155 I did a few months back, and they went together just as easy, if not easier. Just, I think it's a great option for people that don't want to spend that much money on wheels and tires. But let me know what you guys think. If you had any bad experience with them, or if there's any other brands that are just as good, you know, that we don't know about yet. But please like and subscribe, and I'll have some more videos soon. Thanks.